So I lost, good friends that morning. It's really hard to accept that personal loss. At the time, we didn't know what happened, but within a matter of weeks, it was determined that it was something that probably should have been prevented.
My understanding is that it was in 1981, so about 3 years before you went up there, about 5 years before the disaster, that there was first an indicator that this O-ring erosion was happening. And then there was a sealant putty that was added. There was an understanding that it was a redundant design, right? Because you had multiple O-rings. Going into your mission, was there discussion of this? Was there concern, or was it something that had kind of been more or less normalized at that point?
There was discussion, but the discussion was all within the Marshall Space Flight Center. The people responsible for the propulsion systems, the solid rockets and the liquid engines and the tank, that was all part of Marshall. So the problem was known. What was tragic about that is they didn't really share the details of that problem with the rest of the program. And it was because of the culture at NASA at that time. There were 10 centers, all led by very powerful center directors, and they were all competing for budget at headquarters. So there was an adversarial culture between the centers, and they didn't want to share that data with the rest of the program, sadly. We lifted off on a fairly cold morning there in April, and we found out after the Challenger was lost that our solid rocket boosters, when they came back, the first set of seals had failed on my mission. We didn't know that. That was never shared.